Hey there, CJMS students, and so today you're going to evaluate algebraic expressions. You want to remember your order of operations. You're always going to use whatever's in parentheses or brackets first. Then you're going to evaluate exponents. Remember, that's the base number times itself. Then you're going to multiply or divide. Not always multiply first. Multiply or divide whatever comes first when you read it left to right. And then add or subtract. Not always add first, then subtract whatever comes first when you read it left to right. So when you evaluate an expression, I could try to combine like terms, but look, I don't have any like terms here because everything's either an A, B, or a B. And so in these specific problems, for example 1, you are just going to go ahead and plug in exactly what I asked. Say A is equal to 3, B is equal to 5. Always plug in with parentheses, all right? So 7, anytime I see an A, I'm going to say 3 minus, I see an A again, 3, close it up, parentheses, I see a B, so that's 5, plus B, which is 5. You could plug it when it's a standalone in with parentheses or not, it's really up to you. So, order of operations says multiply first. 21 minus 15 plus 5. Order of operations says add or subtract from left to right first. If I don't want to add 15 plus 5, I read it left to right. Subtraction actually pops up first. And so this gives me 6 plus 5, which is 11. Circle your answer so that it's easy for you to see. Quickly for B, 10 parentheses 3 divided by parentheses 2, and then I'm going to put a bracket here because it's inside of parentheses, 5 bracket close. So I'm going to do parentheses first, right? Because these were actual parentheses that were in the problem. So this is still 10 parentheses 3 divided by 10. Now I'm going to multiply because that comes up first as I read it left to right. So I got 30 divided by 10, which is equal to 3. Okay? So I'm going to pause there. Let's go down to a problem like D, right? So when I plug in, I got 3 parentheses. And here you can plug in with a bracket if you want, or you can just not plug in with parentheses because it's going to be 6 minus 2 if you don't want to confuse yourself. So 6 minus 2, close that up, over 4, and then parentheses, A in this case is 2. Evaluations there, so 2 plus 1. Remember, you're going to do parentheses first, so this is going to go over here. It's going to look like this. 3 parentheses 4, that's what 6 minus 2 was, and then 4 parentheses 3, because that's what 2 plus 1 was. Keep on going over a little bit here. 3 times 4 is 12, and then 4 times 3 is also 12. You're going to do this multiplication before you do this fraction division. You'll do numerator and denominator alone, and this gives you 1 as your answer. All right, so as we go along today, you'll see that these get progressively more complicated. But remember, whenever you have a coefficient next to a variable, you always want to plug in with parentheses, and that means multiplication, right? So like when you're doing a problem like this, where those are your values, saying 6 parentheses, like I didn't have to plug in with a parentheses there because it was just next to parentheses. And then 10 divided by 2, again, didn't have to plug in with parentheses because B divided by 2 is not 2B, right? Minus 2, here's where you do want to plug in parentheses, 2, because that's what C was. And then minus 6, right? Looks a little crazy, but work with parentheses first. Inside parentheses, I have division, I have multiplication, subtraction. Do it left to right, division and multiplication first. So 6 divided by 5 minus, you can do this at the same time, 4 minus 6, and then 6 times 5 minus 4, which is 1 minus 6. And this is going to be just 6 minus 6, which is equal to 0, so 6 times 1. Some of you may be like, well, couldn't you do distributive property? You could, right? Like, but like basically what you're going to do is order of operations first here, which was subtract what was in the parentheses. And like if you did order of operation, or if you did distributive property here, look what you would get. You get 30 minus 24, don't forget you still have this minus 6 over here, which is 6, and then this gets just dropped down, 6 minus 6, it still is 0, right? So, as I said, these are going to get progressively harder as you move along today. When you're plugging in something like C, where you have a fraction, 2 parentheses, 9, because it was right next to there, squared, and then b in this case is 3 cubed plus 3 parentheses 2, plug in 9 plus 6. You're going to want to treat the exponents first, right? So this is 2 times 81 over 3 to the third, which is 27, because 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 more, 27, plus 3. And in this case, you can go ahead and start using Google Calculator if you need to, because these are going to get to be pretty big numbers. Just make sure you're showing the work. All right? And when we get to the backside, notice that we all of a sudden start throwing in some negatives and positives, so be very, very aware of your positive and negative rules when it comes to adding, subtracting, or multiplying, or dividing. And lastly, we got some problems where you want to use your word chart again to write some algebraic expressions. So it says 4 times the quotient of a number ng. So this is 4 times the quotient of a number g, 6, right? Something like that.